And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to our 14th race of Season 8 of the NNSCRA Mobil1 Cup Series. Our next to last stop before the chase field is locked up, and we will know who's going to battle it out for the Season 8 Mobil1 Cup Series Championship. Here today, we are at Kansas Speedway, getting ready for the Kansas Lottery 300. And the driver who comes in here as the points leader is also the pole sitter today, and that is Charles Jackson, who is still looking for his first win of the season, even though he's been so consistent. He's been holding on to the points lead for quite a number of weeks, and he looks to continue that success with a good run here today at Kansas. Alongside of him is going to be James McLeod, our winner from Daytona, trying to become what I believe would be the fourth different Turner driver to go to victory lane this season. Already it's happened with McLeod, it's happened with Dylan Young, it's happened with Dylan Poteet, and who was the other one? Trying to remember off the top of my head. Oh, James Silverfox at M&M Super Speedway. He'd love to be able to pick up the fifth win of the season for Turner and the second of the season for him, especially in the fact that he might be trying to go for a wild card spot since he comes into this race currently 24th in the point stands, and time is running out for him to try and make his way up inside the top 10 in the standings. Charles Jackson's going to have a teammate lined up but behind him in row number 2. That'll be rookie Nick Alton. Comes in 13th in points with a solid opportunity to be able to move his way into the top 10 in points here today. Nick Alton comes in 13 points out of that 10th position. And then right behind James McLeod on the outside of row number 2 is another teammate for him, and that is Dylan Young, our winner from Las Vegas. Now this track, very similar to Las Vegas. We'll see if Dylan Young maybe can get the same kind of mojo here at Kansas that he got at Las Vegas and maybe pick up his second win of the season. Dylan Young comes into today's race 20th in the current points. Let's get these cars rolling off, though. We got 27 laps of racing on tap for you today, and it's sure to be a wild one. We have actually, in Mobil1 Cup Series competition, in the past 13 races, not had a driver besides Jake Rogers go to victory lane twice this season. Rogers has been the only one, and right now Jake Rogers comes in 6th in the point standings. So the wild card perspective still is a big question mark, because if Jake Rogers finishes 10th in the top 10 in points after our regular season finale at Arizona, it's going to come down to the highest running in points outside of the top 10 with one win. So drivers that have wins already this season outside the top 10, including drivers like Joshua Collard, James Silverfox, Dylan Young, James McLeod, Wolfgang Mason, Bob Fergus, and Jordan Davis. If they could pick up a second win here, it could possibly guarantee them a wild card spot in this season's chase. So Charles Jackson comes in as the points leader by by how many points is that? 19 points over Dylan Poteet. Dylan Thoreau is 3rd, Levi McIntyre 4th, Tristan Folks 5th, and it's Jake Rogers, Ricky Falcon, LJ Mills, Carson Gum, and Jessica Shelton. That is the top 10 in points. As Charles Jackson, James McLeod, 2 veterans going to get us underway here. Green flag is out at Kansas. And I must mention as well, Ricky Falcon is making his return here. He is in this field, however, due to another fail on my part, setting the player status to number 4, Cassandra Renzi is not in this field. So the same kind of thing is going to apply to Cassandra Renzi that applied to Ricky Falcon when I had the fail of having the player info set to the 1 car. Cassandra Renzi will get a default 15th place finish here today, as there's a battle for the lead between teammates out of JGR. It's going to be Nick Alton leading the first lap by a nose. He's going to go to the point, so Charles Jackson not even going to get the benefit of leading a lap here. And now here comes Chris Washer to the bottom looking for the top position. Started in the 5th position, now in a matter of just a little over a lap, he's all the way up here battling for the lead. And Cassandra Renzi may not be, too disappointed about having to settle for a 15th place finish, because Ricky Falcon, the number of weeks that he missed, he got that default 15th place finish week after week. And he finds himself now 7th in the point stands without even being on track. As Stephen Pollard III is going to go for the top position now underneath of James McLeod. Whoa, contact back there between Andy Timmons and Charles Jackson. Wolfgang Mason forced the issue 4 wide. Now here comes Nick Smith, possibly looking for a 4 wide situation as well, as he'll head it into 3. And they're almost 5 wide there as James Silverfox puts it even lower, almost to the apron. Contact between Nick Smith and Wolfgang Mason, and somehow we are still green flag racing. I don't know how, but we are. Oh, but there's a big gap back there between this front pack and another bunch of drivers. The caution must be out, and indeed it is. Pace car is going to pull onto the racetrack. Yellow flag is waving for the first time here today at Kansas. They were racing 4 and 5 wide. Something had to give, and apparently it did. First caution of the day, and Stephen Pollard III is the leader. Try and see who was involved. There is damage to Levi McIntyre's machine. There he is. Ford EcoBoost Ford Mustang appears to have quite a bit of damage both to the front and rear. I saw Caleb Farrell also damaged in the 42. Joe Davis, well, that was a kind of damage glitch. I'm getting damage glitches for some reason. I don't know why. Been having that happen the past couple of races. Trent Dunham's got some damage on the right side of his machine. And there's Nick Alton, who was right up at the front of the field just moments ago. Chris Washer, Dylan Young's coming to pit road. Kyle Matthews is also on the pit lane. Jake Rogers, Matthew Dalio. Some of these could be regularly scheduled stops, though. Matthews does have damage, though. Rear end damage to both Jacob Lawler and Bob Jones. As McLeod hit pit road, so did Silver Fox. So I think some drivers actually rolled the dice, decided to pit early. For the most part, though, didn't look like there were a whole lot of damaged race cars. So we'll see what kind of a wreck it was that put us under the first caution. Stephen Pollard III is the current leader. Sit back, take a look at a replay. Well, the car that obviously got the biggest chunk of the damage was the 20 of Nick Alton. Charles Jackson, his teammate, is rim riding up there. I think he's actually in the wall, as they had forced it 5 wide. Look at him 5 wide, just about 2-3 rows deep here. And watch on the low side, the 42 of Caleb Farrell. Yeah, he's going to slide up into Jessica Shelton, and then kind of get turned off the nose of the 9, up into Bob Jones, Chris Washer, Nick Alton. Charles Jackson gets boxed into this. There's where Trent Dunham gets his right side damage as he gets hit by Jessica Shelton. And then everybody's just going to try and woe up or make their way through here. Tristan Folks finds a hole. He's going to try and work his way through the wreckage. Jacob Lawler, he gets a hit, though, from Farrell, then gets rear-ended by Kyle Matthews. Gene Sanford, Anthony McCurry back behind this. Oh, wow. Alton back up the racetrack right in front of the already damaged car of Chris Washer. Washer gets more damage on the front. Oh, and then this car spinning down the grass there. Danny Wells and Jordan Davis. Dylan Young gets a piece of it there in the 30. Gene Sanford may have been involved in some way. Dylan Poteet turns a hard left to avoid Nick Alton. Contact there with the left front of the 6 of Cody Lamas, and Sean Galligan also going to get a piece of it there in the Aspen Dental Toyota. But I don't know how much damage it's going to affect some of these drivers. Didn't really look like they took severe hits, but then again, we've seen how just a ripple on the front of the car can cause some aerodynamic problems, which are definitely key at a speedway. You need your car aerodynamically sound to produce the best amount of speed, and we'll see just exactly how bad the damage is. There's Levi McIntyre. Now, we did not see how the 60 car actually got involved. We should actually look at that, because that is one of our front runners in points, 4th in the standings. So he's boxed in here, and we'll see who it is that he actually makes contact with. Oh, he's going to hit the 8 of Trent Dunham. Yep. Then he gets a hit from Joe Davis. Joshua Collard does a nice job getting through there. I don't think he even stopped. Justin Talampa's Tim Walsh up there on the high side. I think they got through. Walsh may have gotten a tiny piece, but I'm not certain. So we'll have to see who's going to be able to continue, who's not going to be able to continue. But I would say for the most part, Caleb Farrell and Nick Alton especially, their days are probably over. Possibly as well Chris Washer's. We'll find out as we'll go back now for the restart. Some drivers decided to pit early on. Let's see if they're planning on a long green flag run or not. So the lights are out atop the pace car. We will get back to green flag racing. Stephen Pollard III. If a little luck could come the way of this team, that would really boost their spirits. They are 38th in the point standings, having a very struggling season, and they'd love to be able to win here today. Lap 8's when we'll go back to green. Pollard has company, though, in this restart. Second place will be Nick Smith. Mason Wood is 3rd. 4th is Carson Gum. Andreas Allen 5th. Charles Jackson able to continue in the 6th position. So apparently he didn't get a whole lot of damage. Probably just a lot of right side damage from being up into the wall. Ricky Falcon is in 7th. Jessica Shelton in 8th. So we know she got collected in that incident, but apparently not enough to send her to pit road. Zach Camlin is lined up 9th. And Anthony McCurry will restart in the 10th position. Drivers that are out of the race after what we just saw are the cars of Nick Alton and Caleb Farrell. Other drivers that have received damage, like Levi McIntyre, Chris Washer, they have repaired their race cars, returned to the racetrack, and will try and salvage the best finish that they can. Now, on our initial start of this race, they were racing 3, 4, and then they spread it to 5 wide. We have a single file restart here. How anxious are these drivers going to be to go back to that 4 wide racing? We're going to find out. Green flag is back out here. And a big thing, too, if this thing does go into a long green flag run, drivers like Andy Timmons, James McLeod, Dylan Young, who all decided to come to pit road under that caution flag, it could work out in their favor. Last thing they need is a quick caution, though. If a quick caution comes out, that would probably put everybody back on the same page as far as fuel. They want this thing to go clean and green to the end, so that way they can be in the best situation possible to not have to pit as soon as these leaders that did not come to pit road under the yellow. As Nick Smith goes to the bottom, he'll go for the top spot. Look at the run out down the front straightaway Carson Gum got. Went down to the apron, and now is going to go for third off of Mason Wood. Goes for second off of Stephen Pollard the third, and he wants more. Carson Gum's to the left rear of the 3. Here comes Carson Gum for the top position. Carson comes in 9th in the point stands, would love to ensure himself a spot in the chase for the championship. Andreas Allen now joins the fray. Zach Hamlin is now up here. These drivers utilizing that apron there at the start-finish line. It's legal. You can make passes there if you are able to get your car down there to handle. Oh man, I don't like the look of this. This has a look of 4 wide for the lead about it. Hamlin, Andreas Allen, Mason Wood, and Carson Gum, they settle it out to 3 wide racing. Man, that was awfully close. That was super close. I thought it was going to be 4 wide for the lead heading into 3. As at the line, Mason Wood's going to lead that lap as he'll utilize that apron to go to the front. And like we've seen for the past 6 or so weeks, the Kyle Busch Motorsports cars at the front again. Here comes LJ Mills up here with teammate Carson Gum. LJ is 8th in points, Carson Gum 9th in points. Both of them want to make the chase, as now LJ is going to go for the top position. Oh man, this is awfully close back here. Collard was leaning for a moment there on his teammate Ricky Falcon. And look at Dylan Poteet going to the apron, 4 wide. That's for 3rd place. Man, these drivers making lines work here at Kansas that we've not seen happen in quite a long time. As now LJ Mills clears Zach Hamlin, moved the 54 to the lead. LJ's already been to victory lane this season, would love to pick up his 2nd win of the season, but here comes Zach back to the bottom. Here comes Dylan Poteet, and here comes rookie Nick Smith, who just a while ago, about maybe 2-3 laps ago, was shuffled way up to the high side in a 4-wide situation. And now the field has seemed to break up a little bit, and that's because we've had another wreck. Caution flag is out again. Oh, whoa, 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 LJ, what are you doing? They're going to run 3 wide here on the cooldown lap. This isn't an IndyCar. So Zach Hamlin's going to be the leader under our 2nd caution, which looks like it may have involved Wolfgang Mason and Jacob Lawler. Then again, it could have involved somebody further up here. I don't know. Jessica Shelton's back here again. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there's more damage on that 9 car than there was before. She may have been part of the yellow flag. Uh-oh, and here we go. Drivers coming to pit road, and I'm seeing a number of drivers that pitted that first time around. Pitting again. James McLeod actually is back on pit road. The only driver that's not coming to pit road is Andy Timmons, so he'll stay out. So too will Tim Walsh. So those two are going to reap the benefits of pitting under that first caution. They're going to restart in 1st and 2nd. Everybody else, though, decided to come to pit road. We are now coming towards, well, we actually are past the halfway point. So I would assume these drivers will be good to go on fuel that are pitting now. Don't know about Andy Timmons, Tim Walsh, we'll find out, but we got to find out first what puts us under the caution for the 2nd time here today at Kansas. Well, the first caution that came out was for an awfully big wreck. This one coming out for a solo car spin. Look at Carson Gum. We had seen him up at the front earlier on, battling for the lead. He got himself up there into the wall through 3 and 4 and lost a ton of positions. Wolfgang Mason going to get a real good run coming here out of 4, and Carson just turns right down into him. Carson trying to get himself off the wall, didn't realize more traffic was coming, and Wolfgang gets into his left rear, and that's going to spin the 82 Dodge around, almost collect the Jordan Davis machine. Then everybody else good heads-up awareness to go down low and avoid Wolfgang's spinning machine. So a single car spin is what puts us under our second caution of the day. That's a tough break, though, for Wolfgang. Was up inside the top 15, was 13th at the current moment, was going to take the 12th spot away from Carson Gum, but didn't work out for him, and that's a tough break there for Wolfgang. Former winner this season, won back at Auto Club, but is 35th in points. And what's been a rather mediocre last couple of weeks just continues for that 82 team. Let's head back now for the green flag, see if this thing's going to end under green, or are we going to have a third caution maybe come out here? We'll find out. Well, when that caution flag came out, Andy Timmons was in the 18th position. Now, with everybody coming to pit road with the exception of Tim Walsh, Andy Timmons will restart this race as the leader. Andy Timmons has not been to victory lane, to my knowledge, since season 6, and that was the Milwaukee Mile. I don't think he's been to victory lane, a Mobil1 Cup Series race, since then. Although, wait a minute, was that... Although, maybe that was last season. I think I'm wrong. I think it was season 7, not season 6. It was season 7 at the Milwaukee Mile. So it's been quite a while since Andy Timmons has been back to Mobil1 Cup Series victory lane. Tim Walsh right behind him in second. 39th in points is Tim. He'd love to be able to become the 5th different Turner driver to go to victory lane and pick up his first win of the season. Then of the drivers that pitted, Joshua Collard came out first, so he'll restart 3rd. Zach Hamlin will restart 4th. Dylan Poteet 5th. Nick Smith is 6th. 7th place, LJ Mills. Stephen Pollard the 3rd and 8th. 9th is Tristan Folks. And Ricky Falcon is now up in the 10th position. So no race rust on the part of that one team. Missed about 4 or 5 weeks. Had to rely on default points. And they're up here in the hunt as we get ready to go back to green. And there are a lot of the Michael Norman Motorsports cars up here. The 25, 33, and 1. All up inside the top 10. Andy Timmons trying to block that inside line of any advance. Here comes Joshua Collard, fresher tires. He may make very quick work of both Tim Walsh and Andy Timmons given the chance here. Here he comes. Let's watch how good that fresh rubber is going to work for him. Coming here out of 4. Dylan Poteet right there as well. As Timmons will stay out in front, but look at the run here. I think Poteet's actually pushing Collard down the front straightaway. Collard got such a quick run on the back of the 25, had to actually dive to the high side to avoid running him over. That may cost the 33, as it's still Andy Timmons leading the way. This is exactly what Timmons needs, is for them to be battling for that second position behind him so he can continue to enjoy the view out front. LJ Mills now goes to the inside of Dylan Poteet. That's for second. Stephen Pollard the 3rd joining that group. Hitting the stripe, lap 19 put on the board. Where is Charles Jackson after all this, the points leader? All the way back in 26th place, now trying to work underneath of Matthew Dallio. Just up ahead of him, there's 3rd in points, Dylan Thoreau, the rookie points leader. He's in the 24th position. Levi McIntyre, we've documented his problems today. He's 34th right now, trying to get by Kyle Matthews. That would be 4th position. How about we've seen Tristan Folks up here near the front. He's in the 5th, well, he scored in the 5th position, now losing a lot of ground, and whoa, look out. Dylan Poteet nearly got into him. So I think we may have, no, we don't have a new leader. Andy Timmons is still the leader. Jean Sanford, though, making her presence felt. She's up here now, battling for second, off of LJ Mills. Where's Jake Rogers at? We haven't talked about the only 2-time winner this season. 39th place he's running. He's got damage on the left side, too. Don't know where that came from. He is off the pace, apparently. And we've seen all the other drivers up inside the top 10, up near the front, with the exception of Jessica Shelton, who is damaged as well. She's in the 33rd position at the current moment. So we'll jump back up here. Andy Timmons, oh, he's got a battle for the lead. It's actually teammates battling for the lead. Nick Smith, also out of Michael Norman Motorsports. He's going to go to the point. And where in the world did Sean Henley come from in the 69? He's up here now battling for the possible win. Next time around, it's 5 laps to go. We've only seen 2 caution flags, one for a pretty sizable wreck on lap 4, and then another one for a solo car spin with Wolfgang Mason spinning down the front straightaway. We've had some great racing here, though, under green flag conditions, and right now it's shaping up to be quite an interesting battle for the win. Nick Smith leads, battles on for second between teammates Tim Walsh and Sean Henley. Number of other names up here at the front that we may not have expected, including Dylan Young, he's up here now. Anthony McCurry is up in this lead pack, so don't count any of these guys out yet. At the stripe, 4 more laps to go. Nick Smith leading the way. And a number of drivers up here running well that really have needed good runs. Henley is 36th in points, Nick Smith 37th, Stephen Pollard III 38th, Tim Walsh 39th, and Andy Timmons 40th. So these guys running well really have needed runs like this. But out of all of them, none of them have been to victory lane yet this season. They're all looking for their first win of Season 8. As Nick Smith right now enjoying about a 2-3 car length advantage over this raging battle, continuing for second, now held by Gene Sanford. This is exactly what Nick wants to see. If Nick Smith can continue to hang on and have them battle for second place, he could be in good shape, but now Gene Sanford is in single file formation. Well, as soon as I say that, Sean Henley takes a peek down to the inside. 2 more laps to go. Will the drivers try and work together to run down Nick Smith, or will they battle amongst themselves and hand the win over to the 3? Henley now going to the bottom of Gene Sanford. Help from Tristan Foltz. He'll move into second now. Now will Henley be the driver to try and run down Nick Smith? Henley's already been to victory lane earlier on this season's Snickers Cup Series competition at M&M Super Speedway, but now Gene Sanford comes back to the bottom for second again. White flag in the air, 1 more lap to go. I don't think either Gene Sanford or Sean Henley are close enough to be able to make a move here as they continue to battle amongst themselves for the runner-up position. They may realize that that win is out of reach. They're now trying to get as much points as they can by finishing second place here. As Sanford now moves into second, Henley back to third. Henley going to maybe dive into the corner again for second. He does, and that's all she wrote. Nick Smith is going to come to the line and pick up his very first NNSCRA career victory and his first of his Mobil1 Cup Series career, as he'll win here today the Kansas Lottery 300 at Kansas Speedway. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's the second win of the season for the Michael Norman Motorsports stables. Their only other one coming from Joshua Collard, which was all the way back at Coca-Cola Speedway. So Nick Smith is going to hang on. He's going to become a winner this season. And I believe, I'm looking through the thing here, and I think he's only the 3rd rookie to win this season. The other 2 rookies that have won are Tristan Foltz and LJ Mills. So what a great win there for that 3 car. Last time that 3 car went to victory lane, if I'm not mistaken, it was Jessica Shelton putting that car in victory lane at Watkins Glen, and I believe, that may be incorrect, but I believe that was back in season 6, maybe season 7, I don't remember. But Nick Smith, what a great win for that team today, and as I said, of those drivers that were up there at the front, they all came in between 36th and 40th in points. Nick Smith was 37th in the point standings. Now, what he basically is going to need, I think, is he's basically got to win next time at Arizona as well to get a wild card spot. It's a great win, but it's not going to be really enough to get him into the chase with the fact he's running so far down in the point standings. So we'll see if maybe he can go back-to-back in our next event at Arizona. If he can, Nick Smith will clinch himself a spot in the chase for the championship. Let's take a look at our official top 10 here, see who ended up finishing up in the top 10. Gene Sanford, great run for that car. Going to finish with a solid runner-up position. That was a great battle between her and Henley there in those final few laps. Sanford comes in 16th in points, too, so this will help her move up towards the top 10 in points. Henley, great run in 3rd. Collard going to finish in 4th. That may move, I think that'll actually move him into the top 10 in points now. James McLeod, a great run for him after starting on the outside of the front row. He'll finish 5th. Tristan Foltz will stay in the top 10 with a 6th place run. Former Mobil1 Cup Series champ Pete Chu London, never talked about him all day. He's going to come away with 7th. We saw Sean Galligan get involved in that first wreck a little bit. He's going to come away still with an 8th place finish. LJ Mills will be 9th, and Zach Hamlin will complete out the top 10 here today. where did Dylan Poteet and Dylan Thoreau and Charles Jackson, those front runners in points, finish? Well, Poteet finished in 12th. Looking further down, Charles Jackson finished out the day in 19th, so that'll keep him the points lead, I'm pretty certain, and Dylan Thoreau is 25th. And look at Ricky Falcon. What a great run for him there. He ended up finishing 11th here today, so all those default finishes, it wasn't exactly all for naught. He had a great run to follow up those finishes here today, almost finished inside the top 10, and Andy Timmons, who was trying to stretch it, I don't know if he had to pit or what, but he's going to finish in 30th place. Tim Walsh finishes 36th, though the strategy for those two did not work out at all when this thing went green all the way to the end. Well, this race is in the books. Nick Smith is your winner, picking up his very first win of his career in NSCRA competition. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Here comes your official full finishing results, overall points, standings, and rookie points, heading into our next venue, which is going to be at Arizona. We have quite a bunch of races on tap in the next couple of weeks for you guys. We still have to finish up this race weekend here at Kansas. Then next week, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the trucks are going to be coming to you live from Canadian... wait, is it Canadian Tire Motor Park? It's one of the Canadian road courses. I can't remember if it's Canadian Tire Motor Park or if it's going to be from Montreal. I think it's from Montreal, actually, now that I think of it. We'll be coming to you live from Montreal for that one. Then we're going to be having our Snickers Cup Series race from Watkins Glen. Then the following week is going to be the final races before the Chase's fields are locked. I believe we have a Last of Us Light Series race on tap, which is going to be at Le Mans. We have a Truck Series race, which is going to be at Canadian Tire Motor Park. And then we have our two races for Mobil and Snickers, which are going to be at the track. Most likely, you'll remember, it's the track we go to all the time to finish out the regular season, get the Chase field put together, and that is, of course, Arizona Speedway. So hope you tune in for all those races in the coming future. It's going to be basically our finishing up the Chase to the Chase, and we'll find out who's going to be in the Chase for Trucks, Mobil, and Snickers, since we don't have any Chase in the Last of Us Light Series. But anyway, folks, we'll see you for our next event, which is going to be the Snickers Cup Series race here at Kansas Speedway. You've been watching production of NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you guys next time. He made very quick work. Whoa, look out! Oh, what a save! Yogi Shears just got turned by the lap machine of Charles Sanford, but now he's got left side damage. But he still opens up his distance. He still keeps a distance, putting himself in second place with Curry. But all that ground he gained, he just lost right there. But what a save!